some form or another. Are we not?
Welcome back to Andres Today, where today we're jumping into the Night Stalker. This is season 1, episode 2. So I know it's been a while since I actually dropped another reaction of this documentary, but it's not because I didn't want to do it. It was really because Netflix is holding on to my last 2 documentaries, the Ted Bundy one and the Night Stalker. So I actually been waiting for them to release the hold that they have on it, but they're not. It's been like 15 days now. So I was holding. I was like, okay, I guess you guys just want to hold on to that reaction. Have fun. You guys could still view it. It's just that like nothing, it won't show up really, I believe. I don't really know what's happening, but I just know Netflix is holding it and it's in limbo at the moment. Should it be blocked? Should it not be blocked? That's the situation that it's in. So this reaction is going to be edited down even more. It probably won't flow and give you the full on Andres El Rey kiss because Netflix is coming for the king. But anyways, I'm ready to jump into this episode. Thank God I did stop though because I needed a break. All this killing. This guy is a creepy crawler. He gives me creepy vibes, and I don't really know what his malfunction is, other than I believe that he thinks he's the devil or working for the devil. So he was just going around just causing a muck, like literally killing everybody. I don't know what's going to happen in this episode. It seems like this episode is called Anyone Could Be Next, so maybe he's going to continue on his spree. I don't know how many people this man has killed. Sadly, like, I think he was loose for a while before anybody caught him. So I'm ready to jump right into this, guys. Before I jump into this reaction, please like and share this video. We are strolling along to 10K, but I do need your help. I'm looking at 1 million hair flip, but I guess I could settle for the 10K for the moment. But yes, guys, please like and share this video. Comment down below whenever you feel like you need to comment. I love to read you guys' comments. This will be a full reaction from my second and third tier here on the YouTube platform, as well as my other platform, Patreon. So guys, please sign up to one of those platforms and come support the channel today. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the Night Stalker, the hunt for a serial killer, and find out exactly what this documentary has got to give. Oh, was that a body?
Body had been dumped 15 feet down an embankment in a residential neighborhood.
Oh my God.
And they say it's a possible overdose. You could see ligature marks on her wrist. You could see ligature marks on her ankle. This wasn't an overdose. This was a murder.
Heidi ho.
These have been attributed to a killer called the Hillside Strangler.
11 bodies, 11 women, all of them dumped on Hillside.
He could be dealing with either cops or pretend cops. When they were taken off the street, they went willingly.
Palm print was found on the car of the 13th victim, 20-year-old Cindy Hudspeth.
Bianchi admitted to a Los Angeles court that he committed 5 of the so-called Hillside stranglings. Testify against his cousin, Angelo Bono.
There were a lot of other men and women who were working on this case, but Frank was the guy who put it all together.
You just sort of said, whoa.
Whoa.
That was very difficult to do.
I remember telling Gil, those are like once-in-a-lifetime cases. Oh shit, here we go again.
There was a Hillside Strangler?
108 in the high desert, 117 in Palm Springs.
I've never been a hunter. I'm a city slicker, so I looked at it playing the game of Clue.
You're trying to think like an individual that is not thinking logically.
And killing by various means. Guns. The only thing that was similar was his dissimilarity.
He went after men, he went after women.
How was he selecting victims? How was he selecting homes?
And anyone could be a victim.
Title of the episode. Plug in.
John was asleep in the back bedroom, and I had ended up asleep on the sofa in the living room. I woke up to a very loud noise immediately. I knew it wasn't John.
How scared I would be.
There was no answer, just still. I didn't know if the something was in the house or the something was half in or out of the house, and I was terrified to move.
Don't bother me. I got to get up in a couple of hours and go to work, you know? I went and got my gun, and I walked around the house.
The window that we had not opened ever was all the way up. It's like, I am the police. I said, I know, but we gotta call the police.
So I go get my flashlight, and that's when I see footprints down in the flower bed, in the mud.
It just left a perfect print.
And he looks at him hard and a long time, and he says, you know what? I think it's the same guy.
And got a phone call 4:30 in the morning, and there's been an attempt breaking out at Pico. Young, good deputy. He found a box and covered up the footprint just in case the wind blew.
He says, look, I don't want to scare you, but you are very lucky that this guy didn't come in your house. He's done some things that, you know, you don't want to know about.
It was Gil Carrillo who told me the print matches. And how lucky we were to have lived.
Wonder why he didn't go in.
All of us.
Once we found the soul pattern, we told 2 of our investigators, go find the shoe that matches it.
That Avia was a very uncommon shoe. It wasn't like at the time an Adidas or Puma.
I was assigned to the trace evidence section in the laboratory. I went up to Portland, Oregon to speak with Jerry Stubblefield, who was the inventor of the Avia shoe. I was able to determine that these shoe prints have been caused by an aerobic shoe.
Interesting.
And it's definitely a size 11 and a half.
January 9th, 1985, 1,356 pair of Model 440 Avias entered the United States from Taiwan.
There was only 6 black 11 and a halves manufactured, and only 1 came to Los Angeles. We were never able to track it any further than it had been shipped to LA. If we capture this suspect, he's got the Avia shoes on, then we have caught the killer. We actually made a chart. Certain firearms were used. So you start trying to piece all this puzzle together. There must have been 25 or 30 cases we were looking at to see if they may be connected. One of the cases that came up was Abel Bell and Florence Lang.
Two sisters in their 80s were attacked and beaten in their hillside home in Monrovia. One of the sisters, Abel Bell, died yesterday. The other, Florence Lang, is hospitalized in critical condition.
Abel
Bell lost her life.
She was taped with electrical tape, sexually assaulted and beaten to death with a hammer.
Her sister, Florence Lang, was barely alive. He had put his foot on the clock and yanked on the electrical cord.
And our lab was able to match that partial print to the Avia shoe print. The interesting thing is how comfortable he got after killing somebody. He'll have a snack. That's a pretty sick individual.
Pentagram, it was written in lipstick. It was on one of the victim's legs, and he had it on a wall.
Was he into Satanism? Was there something he believed in? Was he maybe copycatting Manson?
Oh, Manson did that too?
Satan is a stabilizing force in my life. It is a driving force that motivates me into doing things. I dream about the shit.
Oh my God.
Attempt kidnapping of a young female off the street in Northeast Division of LAPD. Victim fights the suspect off, driving away from the location.
And he committed a traffic violation, not have a driver's license. Who got him out of the car and made him put his hands on the hood of his car.
Our suspect hears on the motor officer's radio of his attempt to kidnap that young girl. There's a pentagram on the hood of the car, and he escapes.
Just took off running.
We specifically say we'd like to print that car or process, and they say, okay, we'll do it. Don't worry about it, we'll do it. We lost an opportunity to come up with some evidence that would lead us to the killer.
You have the Sheriff's Department, you have the LAPD, and you have dozens of other smaller jurisdictions.
You could commit a crime in LA and be across 3 different jurisdictions in 5 minutes. The natural competitiveness.
It becomes a pissing match amongst a bunch of type A personality macho dudes that want to solve stuff. They're not sharing information. And that is a very big problem.
There were no days off. It was physically and mentally exhausting. You got to stay down the middle. I mentioned this to Gil a number of times.
Frank said, we need each other to ride through the highs and pick ourselves up in the lows. That's what partners are for. Every ounce that I had to give, I gave. All of a sudden, I wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm sweating, I'm scared. Killer's in my house. I'm using point shoulder position, turning on lights. If I call the cops and there's nobody there, they're gonna think I'm nuts. And I cleared the whole house like that. John Wayne movie was on.
Great movie.
All of a sudden the phone rings and scared the bejesus out of me. Call up my friend Linda Arthur. The lady across the street from me just got raped. And I think it's related to what you're working on.
I told Gil what happened. I had friends over, so we went out to the hot tub. They went to bed in the guest room, and I went to bed. My girlfriend gets up and she says, Linda, someone's calling you. I said, no, someone's calling you from outside. Climbed up on a little wall and I could see through the top brick. And she says, I've been robbed and raped and I'm handcuffed to my bed.
The suspect had lifted out the cat door, pulled it right on out, and had sexually assaulted her.
In her words, he put a glove in my mouth and a pillow over my head. The attacker said, don't look at me.
I'm just on the other side of this wall and he's committing these crimes. He's in the area. And anybody could be a victim.
After talking to Sophie Dickman, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I called my wife. We'll meet you guys, we'll go out and have some breakfast.
I think he got through that breakfast.
I was tired. I told my wife, let me sleep for an hour. I got to meet Frank at work at 12 o'clock. She has no idea what I'm doing. She has no idea as to the danger, when I'm coming home, what's going on.
And I remember he lifted up one leg, his pager went off, and they called him out to another case.
He's like everywhere. He's like not stopping for a moment.
July 7th, a 60-year-old grandmother, Joyce Nelson, is killed during the night in Monterey Park.
60-year-old grandmother from Monterey Park, and I would think she was so much more than that. She was probably only about 5'2", maybe weighed a little bit over 100 pounds. Always call her spunky, she just had this like spirit in her.
She had a house that she bought on her own, and it was her treasure. And she was a lady who would go out into the front yard and do cartwheels.
She had promised me that when she passed away, that she wanted me to have the necklace since I was her firstborn granddaughter. I never wanted to be without my grandma. I wanted her, not her necklace.
Nice, safe neighborhood. And it is until it isn't.
Colleen was having her 14th birthday party that same day in the afternoon. When we got there, Don's on the driveway and I thought he was having a heart attack.
He looked at me and he said, your grandmother was murdered. I think I felt even in that moment, everything was going to be different.
The last thing I got to see of my mom was that blood. My mom was always afraid of being raped. She had this predestination concept in her head.
And she wasn't raped. He was very angry when he beat her.
He literally stomped the side of her head and left a footprint on it.
But I like knowing that she fought, because that was just her. She wouldn't go down without a fight.
He killed her, but didn't satisfy his need for sex. He then went less than a mile away.
So we now have a killer that's committing 2 crimes the same night, and it matched all the shoe prints we had.
He has no other shoes?
At Higgin, Cannon, Bennett, Dickman, and Nelson. 5 cases in 10 days. It's crazy.
Feel her killer may be the same man involved in a mid-May break-in where an elderly woman was beaten and raped.
Media really got involved after the Nelson case.
What are you doing out here? Well, we just happened to be in the area since we were working the other one, and they said, hey, we'll take it, no biggie. Oh, no, there's something going on here.
There was something afoot.
Stories running at the top of every newscast.
The latest update from the...
This is big stuff.
It was something then that just everybody was talking about. It's your grandmother. It's somebody that you love, and you're never going to see him again.
No one particular race of victim, type of victim, and the more you thought about it, the more you said, could I be next?
Investigators have assembled the largest force of detectives since the Hillside Strangler case.
Now with a full-fledged task force, somebody follow up on the shoe print, the handcuffs and thumb cuffs follow up.
And we're looking for every possible piece of evidence, and you have to be very meticulous.
Not overlook the clue that was going to come in. There was no doubt about it.
Here at the Sheriff's Homicide Bureau, open 24 hours a day, that every call is checked out.
Former wives calling in that their ex-husbands did it. I remember a cop by the name of Willie Wilson. I looked at him and I laughed and I said, "What's up, Willie?" I get sucked into this case and I become a fucking clue clown. Looks just like the picture you're showing. He says, "The only problem is the guy's a midget."
The phones are going nuts and somebody puts a call through. "Frank, it's Laurel Erickson."
Laurel Erickson, Channel 4 News. What about this shoe print I understand you've got?
She says the Avia. So I'm going to do a story on it. I said, "You can't, Laurel. You will blow it for us."
He referred her to the captain.
And I said, "We got a problem. We're going to walk out of here, walk into the parking lot."
I was angry. I was worried about a case and she was worried about a news story.
You get something and you don't blow their investigation.
Her to deal with the captain that she would hold on to the shoe print information so long as she got a chance to interview us. So she did.
He and his partner, 35-year-old Gil Carrillo, have too much at stake.
Generally, in a serial murder, what occurs is they might relocate, but they don't stop killing.
I want to hook her up for extortion.
How do you think Laurel got the Avia shoe print?
Some detective told her.
Laurel Erickson, Channel 4 News, Los Angeles.
Could mean saving family members, my mom's life, my kids, my wife. We had to stop the madman that was doing all this.
I don't know if it ever gets completely turned off. I just try to not think about it.
My kids at that time were about 7, 10, and 13 years of age.
He would just come home, shower, maybe get a couple of hours sleep. We had to go through everyday life, mostly not having him there with us.
I was starting to get short-tempered, which was not like me at all.
Everybody deals with it differently. Unfortunately, some guys crawl into a bottle.
I don't know how I would deal with it.
There were a couple of bars in Chinatown where we would debrief. If she recognized you, she unlocked the door and let you in. If she didn't, then she just closed it and that was it. Just about everybody there was involved in law enforcement.
I was worried about his health. I was worried because him being so tired.
Go home and the wife says, "Working late?" I said, "Yeah," and then get in bed. She says, "You've been drinking, haven't you?"
You have to have a lot of patience to be a police officer's wife.
July 1/14.
When we first learned of the case where the suspect had been stopped in a stolen car, we had been told that that car would be processed and printed. Captain Grimm about it, he makes a call, he puts some pressure on, and they say, "Okay, you can have access to the car." The car had been stored outside in the sun.
Skin, everything had been burnt up. Left inside the car was a little cheap plastic case.
It was a dentist up in Chinatown. And our suspect, whoever he was just in July 3rd. Now, this is about July 8th or 9th. What if we'd have known about this business card? We could have the suspect in custody.
I was able to obtain x-rays from that doctor. "What can you tell me about these x-rays?" He says, "I can tell you that he's going to be back." We got 2 of our own Asian officers. We stuck them in there waiting for Richard to come back in for a dental appointment. And we know if he come back, they're going to get him.
Well, now we got through that episode. This guy, you know, it's really crazy. In the beginning of the episode, I'll just tell you guys what I was thinking. In the beginning of the episode, I was like, oh my God, because I've never been to LA. And I was like, I guess LA is predominantly Asian and Latino. And then by the end of the year, a white lady was murdered. Before that white lady was murdered, I think her name was Joyce. I think everybody else was Latin and Asian, right? And I find it very curious, I believe. Now, I could be wrong, but I find it very curious that after that lady was murdered, yeah, everybody else was Latin and Asian. After that lady, though, was murdered, then the news picked it up. This seems to happen often, but it's still very sad and crazy how aggressive this man is killing these people with no mercy. And it seems like there's always a pattern. He has to have sexual pleasure from it, and then he murders. So, because he already murdered the lady, I think her name was Nelson, I don't want to mix up the victim's name, then he went and only raped that other lady. So, this is just crazy. Also crazy that he's just going around eating snacks after he's done murdering people. There's dead bodies in the house. He's like, oh yeah, I want a banana, and this banana is actually almost bad too. But I ate the banana. And you just throw it on you don't even throw it in the garbage. This man has no mercy. Then he goes to the dentist's office like he's just like a normal guy. It's just crazy. And why does he not have any other pair of shoes? You would think after killing all these people and murdering all these people and ransacking their houses and stealing shit that he would have enough money to buy some shoes or just steal somebody else's shoes. I just find it very interesting. Like that's what he was doing. And he like never thought in his head, I'm murdering a lot of people and my shoe prints are being left up. Maybe he didn't think about the shoe prints, which is weird because he thought about so much other things. He's going around scaring. His intention is to scare you right before he kills you. Kind of what they said in the first episode. Then he's obviously in this episode we learn he's hiding his face. He's saying, don't look at me. He's doing so many, he's sneaking in. He's doing that. He's nighttime. So he's doing everything else but forgetting the shoe. And he has huge feet, so it's not like, you know, like that would be like a secret, like, oh, you know, it's either you or Bigfoot is real. So like, I don't know, toss up in the air. So I'm assuming the next episode they're going to catch him. I think they're going to catch him by him going back to that dentist's office and obviously it being a setup. I learned in another Ted Bundy and Dahmer and maybe Gacy. After these murderers continuously do all these murders, they start getting sloppy. Their need to murder people is overwhelmingly powerful, and their secret of trying to hide it in and enclose it and be sneaky, it starts diminishing. The longer they go, the sloppier they are, and that's how they always get caught up. And every single case so far that I remember seeing, each one has gone down that way. John Wayne Gacy went down that way, Dahmer went down that way, and Ted Bundy went down that way as well. So it looks like this guy is going to go down the same way. It's obviously a pattern with these people. So I'm ready to get into the next episode. You know I need a break, maybe a couple of days. I'll try to get, the next episode in this week. We have a lot of filming to do, guys, this week. I'm going to be pushing out as much content as humanly possible. So bear with me as we get through another documentary. This was very good. I would rate this a 9.5. I kind of wish that all these documentaries that Netflix produced was of the quality as this one is, because there are other ones like the John Wayne Gacy and the Dahmer, and this one I would put almost on the same level of piquing your interest and grabbing your interest and keeping you there. Maybe it's like the whole tape thing that I was watching that kind of throws me off sometimes, and I'm still trying to figure out why. Although they are good and it makes me learn more about why these people did what they did, seeing something like this and the Dahmer, it just, I don't know, it just gathers me. It just really brings me into what's happening at that moment. Guys, please like and please share this video. Comment down below. I cannot wait to read your guys' comments, and I will see you more next time with more Night Stalker.